Hello, welcome to our movie class. Today we'll speak about classic American movie based on classic English story, The Time Machine. So, what is the origin of the story? It's a book, right? A book written by Jart. Can you?
H.G. Orwell.
Yeah, long time, like in what year? I read the Wikipedia because I was curious. Is it the first story about time machine or not? And it says it's not the first one. The first one was 3 years before. But it's the first famous story about time machines or something like this. So let's start from the story itself. What is about? Who wants to start?
Time travel, I guess.
Nice guess. I should say. Some time definitely is involved and some trips in time.
Okay, I have learned this. It is The Time Machine is a 2002 American science fiction film adapted from the 1895 novel. That's all I know.
Okay, it's enough. Vasant, so can you please start with the story?
Okay, this story starts from George's home, where his friends were sitting in his house and waiting for him, and he was not there for a week, so they were wondering what he has been doing and where he was. Then suddenly he appeared with a different outlook, with torn shirts and some bruises on his body. It's totally crumbled look, so just like from a war or some disaster, I guess at like a cyclone or something. So when he reached the home, the friends were asked what happened. Then he started to explain what happened, what had happened a week ago, before the new year. It's like a recalling. So he told them how he introduced them that his time machine, like he showed them a miniature model of his exact time machine. It's like a handheld, a small toy. Then he experimented in front of them and it just disappeared. So he said that the time machine is actually works, and he can do this with a real human. He said, but the friends didn't believe. Then he decided to go by himself, alone. So he actually built the real time machine on the first floor. He kept it on his first floor, and he went there and he sit on the machine and he started to travel to the future, not the past. So on this journey, a lot of things happens. Probably somebody might want to continue.
So let's start with some English-related questions. What's the word for this small machine? What is the word for something like that emulates the big one?
Miniature
replica.
Replica. Okay, miniature replica. So before building something like bridge or big town, the architect should make a miniature replica to show to this clients or customers, something like this, yeah?
Right. Sometimes there may be a small working model if it's functional.
Small working model. Okay, so it was a working model, definitely, right? And it was surprising moment for me.
That's the time machine. It's gone.
Yeah. So it looks like this guy can produce a time machine of any size. You want big, get big. You want small, get small. No technical restrictions at all.
It was amazing. Yeah.
At the beginning of the 20th century. long time ago.
Yeah. Long time ago. Okay. So, any other questions about language or something, or we will go again? Fuse with story.
I saw something that struck me at the beginning, something very male chauvinist, because they addressed to the servant, they call her woman.
Yeah.
That what? Did you notice that, Ivan?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Woman?
Woman. What?
Yeah.
Nowadays that would be very.
Yeah. She brings some piece of paper, some letter for him, and they said, "Give it to me, woman. Come here and give it to me."
Oh, yeah, that guy was rude.
Oh, it must be very rude. I'm happy that I haven't watched it.
It was only one episode, Leila, in the
One
beginning.
moment.
No. One moment, yeah. So fat guy was rude, rest. But it was what time it was in the movie? Do you understand? It was yeah, but it was 1900.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
1900.
Yeah. 1900. 1900. Okay, so it was a long time ago. Yeah. People has another perspective about all this feminism.
I think it's something wrong, because at the beginning they say that it's New Year's Eve, but then later, when George comes, he is the 5th of January.
Yeah, but Vasan just explained that it's a loop. They like started from the eve, but then they have a second meeting with this later after his trip, something like this.
Okay.
So, what about his trip? What happened? Where did he travel? Jorgen, would you like to try? If you want. If you're not,
I think he stopped first at one place, then continue to that's what I remember.
Yeah. He tried to to try if his machine is working properly, and did a small trip for the beginning, and Jart, please.
Do you remember the mannequin in front the shop?
Yeah.
That's curious that the shop always had the same mannequin every year, the same exact play. And
actually, I had a special question about this mannequin to you. In the book there are no mannequins. But director of the movie put that mannequin into the movie for what? For what purpose?
To visual purposes, because so we can see the time going very fast.
Yeah.
And first stop was in 1917. So in the middle of the First World War.
Yep.
And he George discovered that his amic Delby have died in the war. Thing that I found quite curious, because at the beginning of the 20th century, he had more or less 40 years old. So what is going on? A guy with more than 50 years old in a war. I don't think it's logical, unless he is a general or something high rank. But otherwise, a soldier cannot be 55 years old, I think.
Well, normally, but maybe when World War I started, it may have been kind of a new experience, and maybe they took people of all ages because they were short-handed on soldiers. I don't know. But today, yeah, it's unheard of to have a 50-year-old join the military.
Yeah, but speaking, for instance, for World War II and Soviet Union, we had to have old soldiers as well. So our mobilization was up to 45, I think, or something like this. So because of lack of of army or something like this. So and World War I for England maybe kind of the same. I don't know exactly. Just a suggestion. Just an idea. So first stop at World War I, second stop World War II.
And he met the son of his friend, who was like his father.
Right.
Second stop.
What's the name for this? For this wrong suggestion? When you stop someone on the street and say, "Hey, hello, John, how are you?" And he said, "No, I'm not John." This is some, how would you call that? Mistaken.
We call it a case of mistaken identity.
Nice. Because it happens with me many times when I forgot my glasses. Okay, and speaking about this mannequin again, do you think that we can, how to say, date, not to date, what's the word for that? So by looking on these clothes, we can predict the year. So can woman dress can be just a good meter of the date? Leila, what do you think? So do you understand? During his time traveling, right, he has a picture. He had a picture. He can see a mannequin with a woman dress from the shop around his house.
Window in front of, he has a window in front of him.
Yeah, through the window, he can see the mannequin from the women's shop. So if we show you a few dresses, would you date it appropriately? Not the date. What's the word? Would you suggest exact date of this dress or something?
Time period, yeah.
I will do my best, but you can understand it easily because we have.
That's what I.
Yeah, Jared, come on.
No, I was expecting the mini skirt that teacher Lee brought, but I think it was invented later than 1960s when the movie was made.
Mini skirt.
Yeah.
No. It's what Gerard expected, but it's a violent expectation.
No, mini skirt.
It was 1970s, 1980s because we were wearing mini skirt at 1980s, 70s.
But I was curious about this solution of movie director to show us all these dresses. It was funny. I was thinking, what if this matter of date will get broken? He has another one, women trends.
Here, I have got a question. You said that you read the book, and I just read the short, just summary of the book. And this book was written in 1895, right?
Yeah.
How can Lee, is it the right word, foresee how women can wear miniskirt?
Well, the book probably didn't have that level of detail because they had no idea.
I see.
The Hollywood added the different styles.
Okay.
Maybe to please the women, to give the women something to watch. Free fashion show.
I am pleased. Thank you.
But I think it's not the reason. The reason is different. I think that the language of the book, it's a special language, right? The language of the movie, it's images, right? It's two different languages. You cannot just narrate all the text to your watcher, right? So you have to invent a way how to show that.
Maybe the director added his creativity.
Yeah. He has a task. He need to show something changing, something that it's clearly shows us that time is changing.
Yeah.
So, woman dress is a nice solution for that, right? I would say there are many, like haircuts or fashion in general. So there are many things that attribute our epoch, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes just looking for one picture, we can say from what period of time it is, by style of car, by clothes or something like this. So it is. Okay, so 2 short stops. What happens then?
Second stop?
2 short stops in the time, yeah. So we found that time machine is working. We meet this guy. We know some stories. And what happened next? What after?
1966.
Yeah.
You stopped and there was an alarm. How do you call this alarm? Like when bombs? Siren?
We call it an air attack, air raid siren.
Air raid siren. Okay.
Air raid siren.
Ah,
Yeah.
classic.
I think it was supposed to be a nuclear blast, but it
Yeah.
wasn't too good. He'd
No.
been dead.
And they talking about some mushrooms or something, yeah?
Yeah, nuclear blasts, mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
And
yours was destroyed, right? In this year. No, not yours, but civilization as we know, or something like this.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. And he traveled for a long time now for looking for new civilization, right? For thousand, I forgot exact date. Yeah, almost
Huge number.
more than half of million, 800,000 years. Yeah,
Yes, I read it.
a lot. Yeah, a lot. And what he found? What he found?
He found a new society called Econ. What is that? So that society was like what we read on The Giver. So it's a special society which are monitored by some other people, but the people, the citizen, don't aware that who are they. They call all the superiors as a what is that word?
Cappuccino.
The creature. No, the word for the creatures, the monsters.
Oh, Morlock.
Yeah. Morlock. Yeah.
Eloise, how? I forgot again. Eloise and Morlocks, right?
Right, Eloy. Yep, Eloy.
Like.
Eloy, yeah.
So from the first look, he found a perfect society, right? Everything is green, fruits, everything is highly developed. People live like in paradise. Then he realized that they are pretty stupid, right? They don't communicate well, don't have any ambitions, and so on. He started to be worried but he found a girlfriend for him anyway in no time. So, and someone stole his magic car, right? And he found that there is a evil part of the world, not only paradise. And under the earth there is another tribe, Morlocks. Why they? What do they do? And are they bad or good? Gerard, what do you think?
I find curious that this the Eloy speak English very well because after 800,000 years, even
Really?
should have changed a lot. Even 1,000 years is an important change in a language. But
Right, good question. Yeah, linguistically, it sounds a little bit incorrect, right? Because
but I don't know. All the movies are the same. Sci-fi movies. Some people go to a unknown planet and they speak English.
Yeah, but we can understand why, right? Without that, we cannot have a consistent story, right? If they start to speak in, I don't know, new German language or something totally new, what will we understand? Vasants, please.
Yes, and one thing they said about the relationship was when he visited that society, the female character Veena was drowning in the river, but all the other friends didn't try to help her or didn't try to rescue her, but he jumped in and he saved her life, and that's why she fallen for him, because she never had such an experience, because nobody in that society have the self-sacrificing character. So when she met him for the first time, she fell in love with him because something unique, something different character she saw in him.
So after almost 1 million years, women still like bad guys, right? Maybe not bad, but active and proactive and so on. Like what I found curious in this in the next episode, in the in the canteen, can I say so? Canteen where they eat or something. Well, I found that he's starting to communicate. They're not interested at all. And as I look at other tables, no one communicating. But in the same time, we have a noise like from highly crowded canteen, like everyone speaking, but no one speaking in the picture. It was different between sound and picture. I like it that.
I didn't notice.
So what about Morlocks? Who are they? What they do? Sure.
They feed the alloy and they give them clothes so they can eat them.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a trick to gather them. Is the air raid siren, and they go like sheep to a place as the like the gates of a cave. And then when they have enough alloy, they close the door, and the others can come back to normal life. But the ones that go inside the cave will be the food of the Morlocks.
Yeah. So as it was written in the book, these Morlocks are ancestors. No, how we call it? Ancestors? No, like children for old generation of
Successors.
Yeah, successors of all generations of workers of low class, but things have changed. They survived in this nuclear disaster or something, and they need some food, right? And they made this alloy like cattle. And it's explain everything. Like it's explain Alloy's behavior, right? They're not interested. They're not too intelligent. They not too ambitious and there are no old Alloys because of that. Yeah, cannibalism, but it's not cannibalism technically, right? Because they are different races, I would say.
Yeah, same idea though. They get eaten.
Yeah, so action begin, right? Vasants, what happened?
Then he decided to leave that society because he didn't like that society. But when he returned to his machine was dragged into some cave by the Morlocks. So he lost his contact to the machine. So he had to stay with that society because without his machine, he cannot travel to the past or future. So he was staying with them for a while, and at some point he got a chance to save all the people from the Morlocks when they were lured towards a cave. I think they were about to killed by the Morlocks, and Vina was one of them, and he he followed her to save those people, and eventually he fought with that Morlocks and with the help of other people, and finally they killed them, all of them. Yeah.
Okay, so it was like uprising, or how would we call this?
Enlightenment, I guess.
Enlightenment, okay. Okay, so the end of the story, right? Or something else?
No, it still continues.
Because
he has to, yeah.
Please finish the story, please.
Because he has to find his machine, and yeah, fortunately he had a chance. The door of the cave was opened for some time, so he saw his machine. He saw his machine, and he tried to pick Vina along with him. When he went in, and he was shouting at her, "Come on, Vina! We can use this time machine to go back to the past or future." So when he was trying to do that, the door of the cave was closed automatically. So he lost the contact with Veena, and few other Morlocks were trying to kill him inside the cave again. So he had to jump in the machine and start the machine to go back to the past. So he returned to his returned to the January 5th of 1900, and that's how he ended. He just came back to the beginning of the story.
Right.
It's the end of the recalling. Yeah.
Mhm. What else? I haven't watched the last part, so I don't know. Is it the end or not? Yes.
No. He met his friend David, I think. David
Philby. Yep.
David Philby,
Yeah.
and told him that he wanted to come back and to help because he was in love with Weena and he wanted to have the society to develop again. He took 3 books, and his friend David took care of everything. So that's the end, romantic end, because he went back with the love Weena.
Okay. Teacher Lee, any comments?
When he finished telling his story, part of the story was at one point the pretty girl gave him a flower and he put it in his pocket. So when he returned to his own time and broke into dinner all dirty and beaten up, and he told the story, none of his friends believed him. They all thought he was crazy. So he went, oh, wait a minute. And he pulls out this flower, and his friend David apparently is a botanist, a plant expert. So he gives it to the plant expert and says, have you ever seen this flower before? And the guy looks at it and goes, I've never seen anything like this before. Not on Earth. So his friend kind of believes him a little bit because this plant was not a current time plant. His other friends leave, and his friend leaves, but then his friend comes back to talk to George again. So when his friend comes back, George is gone. So he gets with the woman, the maid, and they go into George's laboratory. They bust the door down, and George's time machine is not there, but they see some tracks on the ground where it looks like the big heavy machine had been dragged from outside back into his laboratory again. So the friend David is thinking, he's remembering the guy's story, and he says, I think I know what happened. His machine was over there because the Morlocks had dragged it into their cave. So to go back in time outside the cave, he had to drag his machine back inside the laboratory. So when he went back to the future, he'd be outside the cave where he could meet Weena again.
Yeah.
So George kind of figured, or David kind of figured out the story really was true, and his friend went back into the future again, and they would never see him again.
Yeah, but it looks like a nice plan, right? If you have a time machine, you just put it in the place where there is no bank. Then you go to the place where is a bank with money, take the money and go back.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Nice. Okay, so we have some questions. We covered a few. So as I shared that I read Wikipedia about this notion of time traveling, that it was not first. It was not original idea. The idea appeared before in the book. So we discussed the role of mannequin. It's just like a visual imagery for movie. So we have a question, another one. Why does the time machine looks like a scooter, not an Iron Man suitcase? Interesting. Why? Let me copy it. Jürgen, what do you think? Why time machine looks this way? Like it looks so. What's the big umbrella behind? What?
No idea.
Oh.
He was was an American engineer, not a Russian engineer. He had to look pretty.
Yeah, elegant solution, right?
Diamond handle, crystal handle.
Yeah, I shared that many times, but I can share again. If you want to distinguish Russian design from any others, you have to notice only two things. It must be big, boxed, made of iron metal, and green. If it's so, it's Russian. Vasants, please.
Yes, because what I got from that scene is we as a creators, I'm talking about the movie crew, so they are also cannot think beyond the human limitations, just like George said at the beginning of the movies. So we are, when it comes to the time, we are like a prisoners. We cannot think beyond our limitations. So yes, it makes sense. We cannot think beyond anything like a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler or a bullock cart or something. Yeah. Yes.
I see. Okay, so we don't know why it's not Iron Man suitcase, right? But we think that he is like a genius engineer, like not only time machine, but time machine of any size, and he invented this trick, and he's a good person in general, what we know. So, next question. Do you find any religious references in this movie? Interesting question. Leila, what do you think?
I haven't watched the movie.
But we just explained it.
No, I think no.
No?
Because invention cannot be related with religion.
Okay. Temple-like statues.
The Morlocks cave had kind of a Anubis-like statue on top. And when the sirens came up, they looked kind of like an organ, like organ tubes. So it had kind of a chapel look to it, I thought.
Yeah.
Another thing related to mythology, because George is like Prometheus. He brings the fire to mankind.
Yeah.
Right. So Elias forgotten the secret of making fire, right? And for the mythology thing. Yes. Vasants, please.
What I got from this movie is when the siren
sounded.
Yeah, so the siren sounded. All the Eloy community people were just like they were like kettles. They just went into the underground. It was like, yes, he said like, okay, it happened many years ago, and it at the time of the World War, it was meant to be for the different thing. You are just blind following that tradition. Don't do that. Like he said that. So it may reminded me about the religious references. We are like just following without knowing the real meaning of the religious things. We just blind followed.
Yeah, after 800,000 years, they still remembered go underground when the a little bit crazy.
Yeah. And the last question. Which book do you think he would have picked for the Eloy community? Interesting question. So, do you remember the story? He found that Eloys forgot how to read, right? They lost this knowledge, and he tried to get a book from the library, right? And was annoyed that they, what's the word for it? What's the process that make books, so rusty?
Just decay.
Decay, yeah. So these books decayed, and he took a few new books before his second travel, right? What the books? Bible? What else?
I hope not.
The Origin of the Species by Charles Darwin.
Philosophy, yeah, that's all you need.
Not philosophy, I think it's science. The Origin of the Species, that explains the evolution theory, the one that explains the
Yeah.
Yeah, but that wouldn't help the future, I don't think. I would have taken engineering books, how to make electricity.
Right. I agree.
I doubt he had those books. Yeah.
I would suggest some romantic books, Ivan.
Yeah, it's good. But I think they have some romantic already.
Maybe psychology.
Yeah.
Anna Karenina.
No, the
Classic Russian book.
classic Russian book about uprising is Spartak. Do you know who is it? Spartak, it's a Greek gladiator. No, it's a gladiator who uprised the gladiators against the Rome. It's a classic story.
Spartacus, yeah.
Spartacus.
Spartacus,
Yeah,
okay. So
Spartacus,
in Russian, it's
yeah.
Spartak. So I would get this one to make Alois read that and understand it's possible. We have what we have. We have another chance or something. Yeah, repair manual for microwave, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a good question. You cannot get a book about psychology or philosophical book to the kindergarten because they are retarded now, right? you cannot speak. They don't have notions. They don't have ideas. So you cannot speak in that way. So we need some simple book, some, I don't know, dictionary, for instance, or something. Fairy tale or something like this.
I was just thinking that. Children's picture dictionary.
Yeah.
See this? We're going to build this, okay?
So to build a house, you need a basement, then some walls, and then roof. Do you understand me? No, there is the picture. Okay, and speaking about pictures, we have a few. Usually labeled them. So let me share. Okay.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
Would you like to have this experience? Travel?
Good question. Yeah, let's answer that. So, would you like to time travel?
Yeah.
And to where, teacher Lee? To all good times of America, or?
Yeah, probably back. Maybe forward, but pretty far forward where these stupid liberals have all died. I don't know.
Okay, give me a second more. Something wrong with sharing. Always the problem. Second.
Green.
Yeah, something wrong. It's green, yeah.
Yeah. Green screen.
Russian green.
Russian green screen, yeah. But in this case, it's a Google green screen.
A green box.
Yeah. Sometimes I cannot understand exactly when it happened, but yeah, sometimes it happened. When I share from other monitor or something, I'm trying to fix it.
Can we screen share? I don't know. It won't record though if I screen share, right?
Probably let me try one more time. Okay, screen sharing, program, time machine. Okay, can you see it?
Yep, there we go.
Okay. So let's start from the first one. And I don't understand this label, teacher Lee.
Don't understand the label?
Yeah, I understand Morlock, but I understand gratuitous sex. What does it mean?
Oh, gratuitous sex. Gratuitous means unnecessary.
Unnecessary. Okay.
Just thrown in for the heck of it. So just for the heck of it, they show her dress up so you can see some thigh.
But it's to lure, audience, right?
Right. Make the man go, ooh, there's going to be sex in the movie. But not really.
And we often can see that in advertisement, right? So
right.
To sell you a Nissan, yeah, they show you a few girls. Why? I don't know, but you go and buy.
Right. Just no reason, just to excite the senses.
Okay.
Now notice this movie was 1960. Back then, color on the screen was pretty new because we had black and white before. So notice that it says in futuristic metro color. So they're kind of proud that it's in color, not black and white.
I see. Yeah, I did not notice that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for next picture, Jorgen, please, let's start from you.
Mhm. Here we can see a man wearing a scarf, and he look at meeting man on a bicycle, and in the back there's an archway and street lamp and shop. Yes.
Okay, so it looks like an old England, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a new year, but no snow, no fir tree, nothing about New Year.
Decorations, yeah.
Yeah, what I like it in this scene, I mostly choose picture not because of labeling or something, but because of the scene in the movie, just like to remember something. So in this scene, this bicycle man had known this man. They like know each other names. It's interesting. It was interesting for me. So sorry, Mister, and like that.
Right.
Okay, another one with times. Leila, can you find something new here?
Okay, I'm just trying to get ready again. Yes.
Can you see the picture I share?
Okay. Oh,
Is this-
clocks.
Any questions here?
Do you want me to ask questions?
Please describe the picture. You can find new vocabulary. You can ask questions. Anything about this picture. It's
You know that I like these kinds of clocks because this reminds me of my grandma's house, and these Roman numerals on the clock face. Especially when I was a child, I had difficulty in reading these.
yeah.
And I like the pendulum. Still loves it. In my country, these kind of clocks are really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And the last one is my favorite. The glass globe around it.
yeah, pretty futuristic, right?
Thank
Teacher Lee, please.
So this picture tells you two things about the protagonist, George. He's fascinated by time, and he likes precision. The globe dome clock, for example, you can see all the gears operating.
Mhm.
So he likes fine adjustments and precision and time. So that's kind of his hobby or his passion.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about dictionary, speaking about words, I know that we have, at least from my youth, I remember many types of these watches. Some watches, like you wear it on the hand, it's how we call it?
Wristwatch.
Wristwatch, yes, wristwatch. Some we can put on the wall, right? It's
wall clocks.
Wall clocks, and some of them is so big that we put them on the floor, right? It's like a drawer or something. Do you have
We
this?
call those grandfather clocks.
Grandfather clocks. Oh, nice.
When it stands up as tall as a man on the floor, we call them grandfather clocks.
Yeah. Do you still have them?
You can still buy them. They're rare, but you can buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very nice. And I like this pendulum, right? Pendulum. And to make pendulum work, you need two weight, right? Two weight connected by chain. Am I correct, Teacher Lee?
I'm not sure what the mechanism is inside.
Okay, so let me try to describe. It's a pendulum. It's just regulate the speed of this chain. So one weight is bigger than another one, and it makes chain like move by gravity. It's but to regulate the speed, this pendulum swings and make chain stop by putting something in this ring of the chain, you know. So it has some cog, right? It is the word cog.
Gear, cog, yep.
Yeah, it has some cog on the top, this pendulum, and by the spike of the cog, it stops the chain. So it's kind of regulation.
Yeah.
Is it
But
understandable?
Ivan,
No?
you
Yeah?
can't sleep if it is in your room.
Yeah, yeah. And I had one with a bird. Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Yeah, we say they go tick tock, tick tock, tick
Yeah.
tock.
Yeah, nice, nice, nice.
Lee, what about the ones on the left, the small ones that my grandfather used to have? He used to put it in his pocket. What do you call it?
We call those pocket watches.
Pocket watches, right?
Or stopwatches. And they usually have a little chain.
Yes.
So that if you drop it, you won't lose it.
It must be gold chain, right?
Yeah, got to be a gold chain. And one of these you can see has a watch chain with it.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
Okay, anything else about watches? So we have Roman numerals, we have Arabic numerals, right? The opposite of Roman, yeah?
Yep, Arabic.
Arabic, yeah. And nowadays we...
You need to wind up the clocks, you know? You have a special key.
Wind them up, yeah.
Right. But in case of grandfather watch, you have to open the door and put this weight to the down, from the top to down, and the cycle of that, it's exactly 1 day, you know. So every day you have to change this weight position to make it works. Okay, so make gravity work again. So it's cannot work like a month without you. It will stop in 1 day.
I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, but it's very, very funny.
If you've ever looked at American blue jeans, the right pocket has a small pocket above it.
Right, right.
That was originally a pocket watch, a watch pocket.
But we women don't use it, right?
We don't use it anymore, but we always put it there from tradition.
I've always saw that it's for Zippo, you know, for for some lighter for smokers.
Yeah, but originally that was a watch pocket.
Okay, nice, nice, nice.
Now
okay.
you can put change in it, coins or something. I never use it.
Okay, so we're ready to speak about this miniature something. I forgot. Miniature replica, yeah, or walk-in model, right? Vasants, please, something about this picture.
Yes, in this picture, George showed his friends his miniature replica model of the time machine, and his friends are wearing sweaters and three-piece vest, right?
Three-piece suit, a vest, yep.
Yeah, three-piece suit, and there was a mantle, and the fat guy was wearing a watch chain, gold chain.
I didn't mention it, but he's also got his eyeglasses hanging from around his neck.
Yes.
Yeah, I see. But is in Russian we have a special word for eyeglasses without this, you know, I don't know. Yes, ear frames or something. It's like monocle.
Spectacle.
A monocle usually is one eyepiece. One eyepiece we call a monocle. These hanging eyeglasses, we don't really have a name for those that I know of.
Okay, okay.
What about the spectacles? What those?
Spectacles are just an old name for eyeglasses. Maybe we can call that spectacles. That's as good a name as any.
What is interesting in this picture for me, it's the old style of dressing. You know, nowadays people wear t-shirt to their working place, but in the old time to have a small conversation with your friends. You have to have 3 pieces West, right?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine yourself wearing one of those?
No, I cannot. When I was student, I had one, but it was the last time in my life, 20 years ago.
Yeah. I've got one for interviews. That's it.
Okay, another picture. Sergey, it's... Oh, sorry, something wrong. Okay. Sergey, hello, and it's for you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah, you can.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, we can see yoke around the horse neck. Yoke,
Yeah,
yoki.
it's a wooden like half ring, right?
A ring. Yeah, it's called a yoke.
Yoke.
We use it today to mean the symbol of slavery, the yoke around your neck.
Oh, nice
Okay.
word.
And the horse driver and the reins. I don't understand what is the reins.
Those ropes, right?
They're like leather straps. And if you pull on the reins, the horse will stop. If you shake the reins, the horse will go. So the reins control the horse.
Okay. And the horse and the buggy. This is a carrot. I don't know in English. And this
Carriage, maybe?
speak cabin for people.
Uh-huh. You can call it wagon, carriage, buggy,
Buggy. Step.
I like buggy.
stagecoach in the cowboy movies.
Yeah. And step up step. And there's a stairs for buggy.
Yeah, nice. So when it was a new year and people were crying something from the windows of this carriage, right, in the movie.
Now, if you don't know about horses, in the horse's mouth is a bridle.
Bridle.
It's a metal bar like this.
Okay.
And the reins are connected to the bridle.
In the modern, the bridle in the very rarely word in the Russia. I don't know how name Russia this bridle.
Okay. So if he pulls on the reins, it pulls back on the horse's mouth like this.
Yep.
That's painful to the horse, so the horse will stop.
Yep, understand.
If you pull the left rein, that tells the horse to go left. If you pull the right rein, that tells the horse to go right. If you pull both, if you shake both of them, that relaxes it so he goes forward. So they train the horse to respond to the rein signals.
So I would call it like obsolete interface, no mobile app, no Samsung, no Wi-Fi. Yeah, okay, pretty good. Next one, Gerard, please.
Here we can see Davy and the housemate. Housekeeper.
Housekeeper, okay.
The hanging light fixtures. I don't know whether they are candles or gas lamps.
I can't tell. I don't know.
It looks like candles,
Yeah.
Because it was in the movie. He said, I tried my machine, and candle, in the moment, candle has half of that, something like this.
You need a ladder to get up there, though. It's kind of high.
Yes. Poor housekeeper. It looks quite dangerous changing the candles.
Yeah.
Okay. We can see these tassels, hanging like curtains or something. A staircase, wood, made by wood. Small box, the small box, and the calendar starting the 20th century. And we can see David's clothes is like more informal than his colleagues.
Pajama.
Pajamas, yes.
Well, we call it a dinner jacket. It still looks like a suit coat, but it's a little more softer and looser, I think.
Mhm, mhm.
And what about this on the right side? That it's a sort of dome. Is that a lamp or what?
I'm not sure. I think that's a display case, but I'm not sure.
Well, we had that in Russia. We call it kerosene lamp, something like this. So kerosene
is
is kind of petrol made of oil or something. It's not a real petrol like for car, but something safe, you know.
Mm.
Okay, I will Google and post in the chat.
I'm not. Yeah, okay.
Because it looks exactly like that. But what I was going to ask about this obsolete technology of writing. So they have a what they have. They have some stick, yes, how we call it, and some oil. You have to put your stick in some, some small box, and
Yeah,
then
we call it a quill pen or a feather quill pen.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually like a bird feather. It's just a hollow tube, and like a straw, but real small. And you dip it in an ink bottle, and capillary action pulls a little ink up into it. And then you write until the ink runs out, and then you got to dip again.
Yeah, it's good for calligraphy, right?
Yeah, calligraphy. Yeah, good.
Calligraphy. I have one, and I like to play with that. I like to play because the tip of this quill is not like just a ring. No, it's like a slanted square or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's depend of your direction, what kind of track you have. So sometimes you can make like an art, from writing.
Right. It's pretty. Yeah, pretty.
Yeah, I like this. Yeah. Okay, next one. Jorgen, please describe the picture.
Here you can see this big rotating disc and indicating lights. Some carriage frame, a frog with a human brain, and time controller.
Yeah, the arrow's not pointing. Yeah.
Level, yeah. What was the lights indicate? Anyone know?
No.
Maybe red is stop, yellow is caution, green is go. I don't know.
Probably. Could be.
Maybe it's a traffic light for another time machines,
That's right.
But it seems like a pretty easy thing, right? Not too much devices. It's I can make this, in one evening. Okay, Leila, it's for you. It's all about this mannequin,
For me, it is fantastic. She looks like a princess. Carrying an umbrella shows how the lady takes care of her appearance, right? So I didn't know that there's some umbrella is called parasol. And I love her handbag. I really love the color of her dress. And this is a shop window, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Display window, right. Okay. It's cute.
So do you use sun umbrellas in Turkey, Leila?
Yeah, but I never use either sun or rain umbrellas.
Okay.
When it's a sun umbrella, we have a special name for it. We call it a parasol.
Right.
Nice. So what's the year is on the picture, Leila?
80s.
We need we need exact date,
Okay, let me guess, my dear friends.
Ivan is teasing you.
Because it seems like a princess, it means that there is a white prince waiting for her. So it means that it must be 60s.
Okay, afternoon, right?
One thing I'll mention that you might find interesting was back in the early 1900s, women covered their ankles.
hmm
Showing your ankle was considered to be obscene. And then later, the dresses got a little bit shorter and you could see the ankles. And it was like, wow,
Yeah, too much, right?
too much. Yeah. So
Gerard,
if the
please?
ankles are hidden, it's pretty old fashioned.
And women also avoided to be tan, to have their skin brown, because that's the thing for poor people.
Right, agreed.
Ah, I didn't know that.
That's the reason she wears a parasol.
Yeah. Okay, next one, Vasants, please. We have two more and we'll finish. Vasants, please.
Okay. In this picture, his friend's son was talking to him. The first one was after the World War, and the second one was during the nuclear blast. So there was a glass window, and he was wearing a military uniform. And at the second picture, there was a poster. It's a recruiting poster. Probably it's for the army. And yeah, the suits.
Mhm.
The suit is different.
So recruiting poster is kind of poster that like your country needs you, right? Uncle
Yeah.
Sam needs you now.
Right.
Why it's
Yeah.
Uncle Sam? I forgot. Teacher Lee.
U.S. Uncle Sam.
Ah, I see.
Just,
Yeah,
just a character we invented.
yeah. But
Friendly old man.
all this
Father America.
yeah, all these posters look the same at whatever country. You know, you have just a man or woman who is asking you just join us, save the world. Yeah. Okay, let's choose last one. Which is the best? Okay, one. Sergey, please.
Okay, let's see. And we can see underground shelter, bunker to hide during in attack by airplane bombers. Oh, it's very popular place in the Russia. Seriously, now we have the similar place.
Yeah, we have it. So every citizen knows where to go in
Yep.
case of if America will start these games again.
We don't have any in America. We've
That's
never
why-
been attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're
business
helpless.
business sign, Philbis, archway, and it's
Yeah, it's it's like a door without door. You know.
yep, old style car, and the siren speaker.
Yeah. Teacher, do you have siren speaker now?
Not normally. Around nuclear plants, we are required to have evacuation sirens, and they test those once a year.
Mm-hmm.
So we only have those for nuclear plants, around nuclear plants.
Yeah. We still have them in our towns. We call it somehow like emergency siren or so. And two times a year we test them. So it's we got a warning that tomorrow these sirens will start for training, not for real case. Something
Will
like
be
this.
tested. Okay.
Yeah, will be tested.
When you hear the siren, do you go into an underground bunker or just in your house? You go inside.
Not immediately. You prescribe it to turn on your TV or radio, and you will know what happened.
Okay, so it's just to get your attention.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, but now it's obsolete, of course, because we have SMS before science.
Facebook, yeah.
Okay, that's all for today. We ran out of time. It was nice as always. Nice movie, teacher.
Yeah.
And the last question: why it's classic? Why we consider that like a important thing to know about culture? What do you think?
what I think is that it is a man's dream to achieve something like that.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
maybe, I don't know, one day, I don't know. It depends on how you believe or, how you think about this. But this is what I am thinking. It's a
Okay.
classic because every time you can watch it, because if you want to realize your aim,
But
you can understand
you know, I mean,
why.
I mean this movie in general because I shared in our chat. I had I saw a lot of reference to exactly this movie with this time machine, you know, in these sitcoms or something. So it looks like a common culture code for Americans. They all knew about this movie, right?
Yeah, very famous in our history. Just
Yeah.
because we watch it on TV when we were young.
Okay. So
Remember-
now we in our group one step forward to understanding American culture, right?
That's right. If they made a modern day time machine movie, I have not seen it.
Okay. Okay. So thank you again. Thank you very much, and see you next week. Bye bye.
Thank you.
See you. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.